Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Julia Rodgers here, joining us now live on the Zoomcast and podcast as well. We're going to talk about the work she does as a certified hypnotherapist and owner of her own company. It's called Inner Strength Hypnotherapy, and she operates out of her business in Windsor in Colorado. And she's here to talk more about all of her relaxation techniques and all she can do to help us. But also, you work with clients all over too, right?
I do have that ability. If people aren't local here, then I'm always happy to see them over Zoom.
Perfect. All right. For starters, let's get to know you. Tell us a little bit about your practice and what it is you do with hypnotherapy.
Sure. So I take clients through a series of relaxation techniques, and I help them to get into that state of hypnosis where I then give them those positive suggestions they'd like to make the changes they want to see in their life. So hypnosis is a very natural and normal state of mind. We actually experience it every single day. But with the hypnotherapy that I do, it's more specialized, and every suggestion I give is geared toward that specific individual. And so I also help my clients to break through old behavior patterns and move past their limiting beliefs so that they can accomplish their goals with confidence. So, whether they want to quit smoking or lose weight or conquer their anxiety, anything in between, really, I can help them to overcome their obstacles and then find that inner strength.
Perfect. How can we reach you? Do you have a website, phone number, any social media pages you want to share?
I do have a website and a good phone number. So my website is innerstrengthhypnotherapy.com. And then my phone number, it's 970-795-8851.
Perfect. Well, before we get to all the details of all that you could do to help us, it's always good, I think, to find out more about you. Where did you grow up and how did you discover this love and passion for what you do? So would you mind walking us through that a little?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in Fort Collins, Colorado. That's just a little bit north of where I live now. I lived there for, I guess, about 26, 27 years. And then I moved to Windsor, so not too far from there. And I've been here about 3 years. I got started with hypnotherapy. It was kind of a long road. I hadn't worked for about 5 years. I was out of work due to some health problems. So that actually gave me the opportunity to explore different avenues and see kind of what I liked, maybe what I didn't like, or what I was interested in. And so after doing a little bit of research and exploring, I came across hypnotherapy, and it always sounded interesting. So I decided to give it a try. I did some research just on Google. I found the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, and they are the first nationally accredited college of hypnotherapy in America. So they have a pretty good reputation. So I decided to give that a try. I enrolled in their first year program. They do give students a 60-day trial period to see if it's a good fit for them or not. And so soon after I enrolled, I knew it'd be a good fit for me. So I finished the program, which included an internship, and now I'm here practicing with clients in my home.
Perfect. Well, I know you also want to start off by kind of educating us on hypnotherapy, and I know there's some myths out there. So do you want to clarify that to start?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, hypnosis, like I said, is very natural and normal. It's been around for thousands of years, used across countries and cultures all over the world. And we experience it every day when we wake up in the morning, kind of as we're coming out of that sleepy, groggy kind of state, and our brain waves are going from a slower to a faster state. And then also when we go to bed at night, about 30 minutes before going to sleep, kind of with the same sort of thing where we're then winding down and our brain waves are starting to slow down. We get into that kind of more groggy state too. We also experience it even when we're watching movies. So if we're watching a movie at home or, maybe at the movie theater, and we just get so wrapped up in the environment of the movie, kind of go into another world almost. And, maybe the movie makes us laugh or cry or scares us. That's actually another form of being in hypnosis. So this is just a very natural state all around. A lot of people, I feel like when they think of hypnotherapy or hypnosis, they think of the stage hypnosis where, they make you get up on stage and quack like a duck or bark like a dog, silly things like that. But it's actually quite the opposite. You have complete control in hypnosis. You are very alert and aware, even more so than in your daily life a lot of the time. And people are never made to say or do anything they don't want to say or do. They actually have to be able to participate in the process in order for those suggestions to work. So if there's something that they're not comfortable with, they don't automatically accept that suggestion. It is that participatory part that makes it effective. It is usually a very relaxing state. Everyone can experience it a little bit differently, but they are in complete control the whole time. And it's nothing to be afraid or worried about, because especially since we experience it every single day.
Well, thank you for that, because yeah, there's that misnomer of someone up on a stage quacking like a duck. Not true. Right? You have to be, the only thing you have to do is willing to be hypnotized, but something like that is just, some people overplay that, but it's not true, right?
Right, exactly. I know it can be made out to seem kind of silly and like it's only for entertainment purposes, but in a therapeutic setting, it can actually be a really powerful tool to create changes that have been hard to make with using other modalities or techniques.
Yeah, well, you say it's very similar to another state of mind, like when we're driving. Could you share the parallel with hypnosis and us driving, if you
Yeah.
can?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there is a lot of similarity with when we're kind of on autopilot, as a lot of people call it. Maybe we're driving on the freeway and we know where we're going, but we're not consciously thinking, okay, I'm right here at this exit, or in 2.5 miles, I'll need to get off here. So we're kind of just daydreaming sometimes. And I don't know if you've ever missed an exit while driving. I know a lot of people have. I know I have.
Did it last week. I do it all the
Yeah.
time.
So that's most likely because you were in hypnosis. You're not focused on that exact moment that you're in necessarily. And so our minds can wander, and then, we forget exactly, what we're supposed to be doing or where we're supposed to be going. So again, that's another form of hypnosis.
And did you-
Environmental.
Okay, and let's talk about some of the things that hypnosis can help us with, please.
Yeah, so just a little bit of background information too. Our subconscious mind, which is what we access in hypnosis, it's where our habits, our fears, and our behaviors lie. And our subconscious mind is actually responsible for 88% of our total mind power. So this is opposed to our conscious mind, which is what we use largely throughout the day, which is then only responsible for that 12% of power. So in our day-to-day lives, we don't really have as much control as you think we might have. So by accessing that subconscious mind, we can make those changes more easily. So someone can have a conscious thought, maybe I want to stop smoking, or I want to lose weight, or maybe I want to conquer my anxiety, kind of anything of the sort. They'll have that conscious thought. But once that conscious thought travels to the subconscious mind and checks in, obviously the subconscious mind has more power, so it's not going to accept that immediate desire. So with hypnosis, that's where we have the opportunity to access and bypass the critical mind, where we have access to the subconscious brain power, where we then give those positive suggestions to make the long-lasting change that people want.
And, I've heard a lot about hypnosis, and I'm sure a lot of people too, when it comes to stopping to smoke or to drink, to lose weight. Those are probably some of the things you can do, but what else on the agenda? Let's talk about all the benefits, because we may not have time. I think there's hundreds. You tell me, you're the expert.
Yeah.
What do I know? What do I know?
Yeah, there are over 100. I know that
Okay.
at least. Yeah, there's a resource I've seen that I actually advertise. It's 145 ways hypnosis might help you. So I've helped a lot of people with kind of more common things like stopping smoking and anxiety. I'm helping someone with teeth clenching right now and career stress. So it comes down to a wide range of things, really. Hair twirling, fingernail biting, fears and phobias. The list kind of just goes on and on. So a lot of people, when they're struggling with these different things, I feel like they don't think about this option. They think, oh yeah, I just have this bad habit, maybe I'll try to stop. Or, I've been struggling with this thing for so long now, and I've tried different options, but they don't really seem to work. So I think it's important for people to begin to understand that hypnosis is so powerful for so many different things. So I definitely always recommend it to everyone, and at least try it to see if it's a good fit.
Awesome. Well, what else do you want us to know about hypnosis, Julia?
Yeah, so there are just some different techniques and tools that I use throughout my practice that I think are pretty neat, and people can use it in their daily lives a lot of the time too. So one of the things I like to do with my clients is therapeutic journaling. So whenever we draw or write, we are actually tapping into our subconscious mind a little bit. So
Okay.
I'll have clients come in and do some therapeutic journaling. Maybe for anxiety clients, I will have them do what's called bilateral drawing. And that helps them kind of just calm down and take a breath and kind of just be in a space where they're, not having to worry about anything or think about
Hmm.
anything, just kind of being in a nice state. And they can do that in the office with me. And they can also do it at home whenever they're feeling maybe a little stressed or their anxiety's peaking or that sort of thing. But we can also use different therapeutic journaling techniques to get to the deeper root of issues with some clients. There are different I guess different styles of it that you can use to kind of almost get to the deeper root of things so that we can access it from the source more so and then work on it more effectively. So that's another thing I like to do with my clients.
Hmm. Go
And
ahead.
then let's see, I also use what are called anchors with my clients. It's a simple physical tool that's used to help people maybe de-stress or fight urges or help elicit other desired responses. And it's created and established while the client is in hypnosis, and then it's ready to be used in their daily lives. So it's simply initiated by putting the index finger, middle finger, and thumb together and taking 3 deep breaths. So I do that with a lot of my clients as well, and that seems to be another really helpful tool.
Got it. I love it. Well, also, if someone is willing to work with you, wants to work with you, what is the process? I know you do in-person sessions. You mentioned Zoom. How long do you need? I mean, I'm assuming it depends on each person, but give us an idea of how long it takes to hypnosis to really work for someone. Could it be one session? Could it be six? Could it be 12?
Right. So generally, one session isn't quite enough to make those changes. When I tell people, you're absolutely right. It does vary based on the individual and a few other factors, kind of the rate of progress. But typically, I like to say about 4 to 6 sessions. It could be 3 sessions. It could end up being 20 sessions. But I like to say about 4 to 6 generally. So yeah, I like to see people in my home office if possible. I just feel like there's a better connection that can be made there, and a better sense of like trust and rapport, that sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But after doing it on Zoom too, I feel like we can build a similar connection, and it is just as effective.
Got it. All right. Also, if we do want to reach out to you, let's remind them again because we're halfway through how we could do so, Julia.
Yeah, sure. So my website is innerstrengthhypnotherapy.com. And I also have an email attached to that. So it's julia@innerstrengthhypnotherapy.com. And then
Mm-hmm.
you can also reach me by text or call at 970-795-8851.
Perfect. And you also mentioned, I mean, there's a lot to your notes. You also used another technique. Did you want to talk about EFT and what that is specifically?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's another really neat tool that I've used sometimes. So EFT, or emotional freedom technique, is done by tapping on different meridian points throughout the body and then saying related phrases to the goal you want to accomplish. And so it can help people who are wanting to, fight urges to stop smoking or maybe eat less to lose weight. It can also be used to help with physical pain. It can help with emotions as well, whether they're deep rooted emotions from 10 years ago or maybe a fight that you had 10 minutes ago. And it's a pretty quick process too, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and it's something that can be repeated for multiple instances. So I think that's really important information for people to know as well.
Good to know. And what other things about hypnosis do you want to share? I would love to hear some client experiences and stories when you get a chance, but I know there's still more to the sheet that you wanted to share with us about the benefits and, why this is a good modality.
Yeah, I didn't know the power of hypnosis before I really started to become educated in it. And I don't think most of the general population does either. As I mentioned before, I think there's kind of a poor misconception that surrounds hypnosis where
Mhm.
it's just for fun, it's a silly thing, or it's fake, it doesn't work. But once you actually try it and give it a chance, I think people would be able to see and recognize just how powerful it can be and how life-changing it can be too. So I don't think it should just be seen as something that is silly or probably won't work. Or it only works for some people. But in fact, it can work for everyone. Something that I learned in this program that I finished was that everyone is hypnotizable. It just depends on how the person learns and takes in information. So some of us take in information more literally, others take it in more inferentially.
Mm.
So by designing suggestions that work best for my clients, I am able to hypnotize everyone. I know that's been a common misconception too, that not everyone can be hypnotized, but that's not actually the case. The hypnotherapist just needs to know how, is all.
Perfect. Thanks for telling us that. And by the way, what ages do you work with? I mean, do children can benefit from this too?
Yeah, kids can certainly be hypnotized. I haven't seen any children personally yet, but it is definitely possible. I want to say the starting age is usually around 8 years old, and then you can see clients, as old as they want to be, really, if they're able to hear and comprehend, just kind of
Mhm.
the basic senses there. But the people I've mostly worked with are more so middle-aged women or women between about 30 and 60. That seems to be the clientele that I attract.
Got it. And now let's talk about some of your client experience. Would you mind sharing some of the things you've helped people with?
Yeah. So I've helped several people stop smoking, and they're just kind of astounded by that. I've had some really nice comments from some of my past clients, how it's just such a wonderful gift they've been given. It's a huge hurdle that they've been trying to overcome. They'll never forget the help that I've given them, the work that I've done.
Hmm.
One lady, she was really struggling with some anxiety after she lost her son, and when she first came in to see me, she said her anxiety was at least a 10, off the charts, basically.
Hmm.
And after doing, I think we did about 8 sessions, she said her anxiety was down to a 2 or a 3. So much better since the beginning. Those are kind of the stories that really make me feel good. Just those big drastic changes from going to a heavy smoker to not smoking at all.
And how long did that take? How many sessions about?
Yeah, for the smoking, it took 6 sessions, so
Okay.
not a terribly long amount.
No. And what about with the pandemic and the anxiety and the stress and overwhelm? Are you seeing a lot more people with this? And let's talk about the anxiety and stress and maybe how you can
Mhm.
help someone with that.
Yeah. So I have seen nurses who have obviously experienced everything, the chaos from the pandemic, and seeing the family struggling and the patients struggling, and kind of the controversy and the politics around it too. The mandatory vaccines and just all of the crazy stuff that went on with it. And healthcare workers were really affected by that. And so by helping them coming in with their anxiety and their stress and their fears and worries, I've been able to kind of see maybe what the root of all of these problems were. And
Hmm.
then by knowing exactly kind of what their experiences were, how they began, what they've experienced thus far, and then how they'd prefer to feel, I'm able to get them back to a more comfortable state where they feel more comfortable and confident going into work.
Perfect. I love that because now people might also ask, well, hypnotherapy, I've heard about, maybe it's a myth, maybe it's not. You could help with pain, chronic pain. We're talking someone suffering with like fibromyalgia or some type of chronic headache. Could you share chronic pain and how that can be helpful too?
Yeah. So it's all honestly based off of suggestions. Each of my sessions include an interview portion. So where we really talk about what's going on, how long they've been experiencing the certain problem, when it started, maybe why it started, how it makes them feel, and then again, how they prefer to feel. So by using the client's actual words verbatim, that's going to resonate with the clients a lot better than me saying, okay, well, they'd probably like to hear something like this, or maybe they'd like to feel this certain way.
Yeah.
But by asking them what they want specifically, I can add that to my session, and then that will resonate so much more. So maybe it's just relief, or free of stress, or peace of mind, less headaches, anything of the sort. Whatever they're telling me, I incorporate into their session. So it really does just come down to those suggestions, and then them being open to the process and accepting those suggestions.
Got it. Now, what about yourself? Have you ever used hypnotherapy to help you?
I have had just one session with my mentor when I was in the program. And it's just kind of a quick thing to show you what it's like, how it should be, kind of how the session goes. But I haven't personally used it in like a longer therapeutic sense, for weeks or months on end, that sort of thing. But ultimately, I would like to do that. It tends to be a little bit pricey, and I'm not in a spot where I'm going to pay for that kind of thing every single week right now. But
Well,
I think
does insurance cover some of it too, or how does that work?
Unfortunately, it does not. We are not licensed therapists. We are certified, but since we're not psychotherapists, we are not allowed to be licensed. So only licensed practitioners can accept insurance.
Got it. Good to know. Well, thank you so much. And we still have 5 minutes left in the show. So, Julie, what else is important to you for people to get to know you today, and why we should reach out?
Yeah. So another big part of why I got into hypnotherapy is because I know it's a powerful way to help people and to kind of give people maybe hope and inspiration, and help them to feel a little bit more empowered and in control. And that's so important to me because I actually had 2 kidney transplants. And yeah, the first one failed pretty quickly within 2 or 3 weeks, and it was obviously very discouraging and very upsetting. I was on dialysis for about a year, and I finally had a kidney that someone offered to me, and it was an amazing feeling. And then to just have that fail after a few weeks, it was kind of heartbreaking. But also during that time, I had so much support, just so much genuine love and support from everyone around me. And that helped me so much throughout the process. Kind of going through that experience actually gave me a different perspective on life, helped me view things differently, kind of gave me a different belief set and a different way of just seeing my reality and what it could be like. And so I still maintained a really positive attitude and optimistic outlook after that. And I just want to be able to provide the same kinds of feelings for as many people as I can now.
Got it. All right. Wow. Well, thank you so much. How can we reach out to you again? Do you offer an initial discovery call?
I do free consultation calls. Yeah. So again, my phone number is 970-795-8851. And again, my website is innerstrengthhypnotherapy.com. You can also email me at julia@innerstrengthhypnotherapy.com.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's also let you guys know you can reach out, work with her. You don't have to be in the state. You could do Zoom sessions like this. Could you do phone call sessions, or you need to see the person as well to make it more effective?
It's best to do the Zoom calls, just because there are physical things that I look for as well. So that is ideal. That is preferred.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Pleasure to have you here. Looking forward to the next time we connect. You have a great day, okay?
Thanks, Jill. Yeah, you as
Thank you,
well.
sweetheart. To all of our listeners, stay tuned. More of the show is on the way. Thank you, Julia.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.